to last day of the Mars TV Dota 2 League. Things are really heating up now. Ben, coming up next, we have LGD taking on Newbee in a best-of-3 elimination match in the lower bracket. Winner will play EG next to see who survives to the final day.
Who do you have as a favorite going in?
I got to go with LGD. I think they look they're very predictable, but I feel like they're a little more solid. Assuming RTK doesn't have as rough of a day as he did yesterday, I think they'll pull through.
That's a big assumption.
He's actually been pretty good this event. He had some really rough games though. So with that, we do have a draft underway. Let's see what the teams are cooking up. And all right, Newbee first pick. LGD will ban out the Void and the Earth Spirit, and Newbee removing the Darkseer and the Sylar Terrorblade in order to go for a first pick Venge, but LGD get their Night Stalker and the Tide.
Newbee have been having a lot of what I like to call run at you strategies. With like
Face Rush.
Face Rush, Spirit Breaker, like Death Prophet, Bristleback, like these sort of things, and just kind of cause chaos all around the map because they are so aggressive. It's much, much different than Newbee used to be, and I bet a lot of it has to do with Chuan wanting to kill people.
Yeah, Chuan has been doing a lot of slaying as of late. Got dusted off his hands after taking care of Secret, and they continue marching forward here from the lower bracket. So another targeted ban at Sylar, removing the Morphling. LGD, they did opt to secure RTKs here early. Now, we have seen a few drafts this tournament where they didn't do that, and it has made life a lot more difficult for them.
Death Prophet's pretty good versus Tide, though. His mobility is highly hindered because of the Death Prophet, and it's a good target for her to do a lot of damage with Exorcism as well as Leech. A lot of life from. And I'm not a huge fan of the Tide Hunter pickup early, but if that's what they want for ROTK, then so be it.
I would generally agree, but I do feel like with this team, and specifically with RTK as an offlaner, that it may be worth going outside of like the ideal drafting strategy just to ensure that you get something that he's comfortable on.
That's true. He's usually banned out very heavily in the second phase, and they don't have the Darkseer for him, which has been kind of the LGD's go-to.
And let's be honest, he has not shown the most versatile hero pool compared to some of the other offlaners we've seen in the event. So
it's tough as a captain.
Yeah.
Direct your team, although generally as a support, I'm not sure how much ROTK does in terms of direction, but.
And you know, to be fair, even players that are considered very versatile, like Ice, have not, in practice in this event, always proven that. He obviously was struggling on the Lone Druid repeatedly in the last series. So
it's just not his signature hero, though.
Yeah.
Like you can be a versatile player, but you're almost always going to be better at some heroes than others. And LD is unfortunately one of the slightly weaker ones. But LGD ban out the Chen. Enchantress is still in the pool. We've seen a lot of aggressive play from Newbee, and I wonder what Chuan has up his sleeve. I guess he can be playing the Vengeful Spirit too, but OD's also still left in the pool.
Invoker also.
He played some Zeus. I'm not sure if they'll go for what they will go for though.
They do ban the maybe Lina, which is a very targeted ban, given that, you know, it's not the most in meta hero, but it is something maybe's run a lot of.
There's still Invoker.
There's also still Razor, which maybe did play earlier in this tournament to great success. So we'll see if he goes that direction.
Depends on the lineup though. There's going to be like a lot of physical damage that's not going to be from single target spells. So I don't think Razor's particularly good, and Newbee have the potential to have a very heavy physical damage setup, which is pretty good for his Night Stalker and type.
It's a little different seeing the way the teams are drafting. Like the past series, EG was Dire primarily, and then they would go for these very strong physical damage strats to take the Roche quickly, but so far LGD haven't really gone for too much to deal with the Roche, just the Gush for now.
What does MMY gotta play?
Anything and everything.
Yeah, he's usually like the one that makes the first move on LGD side. Maybe in Sylar tend to farm a lot. ROTK, generally he has to recover or go in the jungle, and then MMY is kind of the one that starts things going for LGD. So we'll see what kind of pace it is for him.
So LGD, they ban out the Jug, and we saw in the last game just how good he can be against this guy, the Gyrocopter. So denying Newbee, component of a potential push as well as a counter to the Gyro in the laning stage especially.
So if you're newbie, you want a good laner versus the Tidehunter, and there aren't that many. Lone Druid is not terribly great, although what else?
Remaining.
Like any of the weak melee heroes.
OD you mentioned.
Yeah, OD is one of the better ones.
5 seconds remaining.
You generally want a ranged one with a lot of non-physical damage output
Reserve time.
or a lot of plus damage. Slark kind of gets owned too. Spectre, AM, like all those struggle a little bit unless you have some dedicated roamers.
Drow.
Yeah, Drow's okay.
guess.
Drow's pretty good too.
But I'm not really feeling like Drow is a hero Newbee's going to go for. What has he played this tournament? Lifestealer we've seen. Juggernaut.
LGD's turn to pick.
Did he play Slark one game? Might have.
Did he
But-
play Bristle too? I think that was him.
Wasn't that Burning? Oh, Burning also played him.
Both teams drafting very heavy in the team fight. Won't be that greedy Lone Druid offlane that we saw EG and VG both run. Instead opting for Phoenix. Phoenix is very nice versus these two melee heroes that don't, and a
10
very low
seconds
range
remaining.
carry that don't have good sniping abilities on the Phoenix
5
egg.
seconds
And depending on the
remaining.
timing, really good against the Tide Ravage, or just ignoring it and pop into your egg.
Reserve time.
Still making it hard for LGD to go in.
It's good to protect the Death Prophet too.
LGD, fourth pick for them.
It's nice because they have melee support on the side of LGD with the Night Stalker. It's relatively easy for the Phoenix to deal with that, and no silence until later from Night Stalker.
There's maybe gonna play. They're gonna hide that for now. They grabbed the Visage.
Newbee's turn to pick.
So at this point, LGD very well rounded. Good single target burst, good team fight, good map control. They've got some Roshan potential now with this pick. And still leaving it open what Mr. Maybe will play. He did actually play a mid-gyro one game this tournament, so in theory they could still be going for the Sylar hero.
MNY's been playing like sick Visages lately, too. It's
10
pretty good versus
seconds
Death Prophet.
remaining.
Actually, it's a ranged hero with some good attack speed too, in case they want to deal with the Phoenix. He can actually
5
solo
seconds remaining.
zone a Phoenix, so that's excellent for them.
Reserve time.
You never want to give Phoenix like early level. I mean, you never really want to give any offlaner, but Phoenix is somewhat easy to zone out if you have a strong support like that.
So Newbee get what will probably be their primary initiator for most of the game now, grabbing up the Spirit Breaker. Good hero to keep eyes on the Night Stalker. And just to apply some pressure on these
10
lanes, but
seconds
not
remaining.
too many easy heroes for him to gank between the Tide and the Gyro.
5 seconds remaining.
It's still nice to have some way to initiate besides the Phoenix, like
Reserve
Phoenix swooping
time.
in or a swap. This way they can kind of bypass their front line. Even if you charge a Night Stalker too, you get his vision, which is also kind of a way to deal with darkness.
Oh, the Razor ban.
Newbee's turn to
So, I
battle.
mean, you were asking about heroes to deal with Tide. Razor definitely decent with the static link.
Tide, Gyro, Juggernaut, OD, kind of are the main ones that I've seen deal with the Tidehunter.
10 seconds remaining.
Newbee now, gonna make their final ban.
5
And I
seconds
imagine it will be most likely a maybe hero, though again, there is the chance of the mid-gyro. So, they're gonna ban the Invoker,
LGD's
which
turn
actually
to
Sylar
pick.
has played as well in the past.
Yeah, they could have easily picked it up fourth pick though. I don't think the LGD necessarily wanted the Invoker, although I think it's really good versus their lineup. Really good for Spirit Breaker at not dying. Good control in fights. And, I mean, just generally first pick material. Not for these two teams though. So what else is left for him? He doesn't play Viper very often. He plays Ember, but Ember
10
is
seconds
not
remaining.
particularly great for his Death Prophet. I've seen a lot of them just like feed and you lose too many towers
5
before you get Battle
seconds
Fury.
remaining.
But they generally pick her a scaling one. Sorry, him a scaling one.
Newbee's turn
Qua.
to pick.
Saw it last series. It had a
Quap's-
pretty good impact, even though they ended up losing that game.
Quap's dangerous in this game versus the Spirit Breaker.
Newbee are going to go back. I mentioned this for Hal. Something we saw yesterday. It was quite successful. Actually, they had some interesting lanes that series. I believe it was an off-lane Lifestealer, and he essentially got free farm. So.
It's hard though versus Tide. Like Tide is pretty good versus Lifestealer.
Oh, no, he actually went to the jungle. That was right. He was safe lane. He went to the jungle, and Chuan was just farming the safe lane as a Zeus. So they do have a vehicle here in the Spirit Breaker to deliver the Lifestealer into the middle of the fight. Good against the Ravage.
Yeah, it works both ways. The Magic Mini is good versus the Ravage, but Tidehunter's Anchor Smash is very good versus Lifestealer. But
Yeah,
they
it's
have
clear both teams just want to pick what's comfortable for their lineups more than anything.
they have a lineup that can fight very early
10
on though,
seconds
and
remaining.
those Magic Immune melee heroes are just really good at dealing with Gyrocopter. If you don't have Juggernaut, then
seconds
Lifestealer is
remaining.
also pretty good. I think he might make a resurgence, especially if Puck starts seeing more play.
So who do you favor here overall?
I like Newbee's draft a little bit more. I don't necessarily like the quad pick too much, just because I think there's a lot of stuff that she doesn't want to deal with, like Spear Breaker, the silence from Death Prophet, like even Phoenix, like isn't terribly easy for a Queen of Pain to deal with. And I also think that Newbee's lineup can push a lot easier than LGD's. But I also think Newbee has a slightly better Roshan lineup and slightly better lanes.
All right, let's see if LGD can upend your assessment. We'll see Tule into the off lane now as the boots first on the Phoenix, but 0 base armor with no rune of protection. And they are going to get eyes on him. He will have to immediately dive away and scoot himself back to safety. Did not get a ward down. Let's see where he's going to place it.
How's that Dire Observer Ward? Is that likely to get dewarded?
30
Ooh, that's a
seconds
very
to
tough one to
death.
deward. If you deward it, generally you're going to block the spawn. And if you place it to the south, there's a large area where you can place the Observer that it won't actually find the Observer. So generally you place it a little bit up, but dewarding it and not blocking the spawn is a very difficult task.
Yeah, trying to deal with these off-lane shenanigans from the Phoenix. Let's see, Newbee going to look for the bottom rune here. Looks like it will be uncontested. Phoenix going to try for the dive timing, but just a little bit too early. So it will be an even exchange. Both mid heroes getting their respective bounty runes, and we enter the laning stage now. Safe lane for the Radiant will be the Lifestealer, matching up against the ROTK Tidehunter. And you can already see Radiant Sentry has been planted down to block that big camp in the Dire off lane.
What build did ROTK go for? No skill up yet, Fairy Fire, and a lot of regen. So he wants to stay in lane 1 and he doesn't want to jungle.
Yeah. The Sentry that they placed may not amount to too much in the end then.
Yeah, if ROTK dies, it will.
Oh, they're charging him already, bottom lane.
Oh, he got the. Did he get the ward with that sentry? Wow, he did. It's a very nicely placed sentry ward right there. I'm not sure if it blocks though. I think it blocks. We'll see at 1. Yeah, okay, it doesn't. Nice. It's a very, very good sentry ward placement. It's a tough one.
Maybe something he scouted out in a replay. So Chuan is going to go to start pulling here. Both teams pulling their safe lanes for now. DDC not playing this the FY way with the early Iron Talon. Just going to start off in the lane. I really like the way FY plays the Night Stalker. Seems the most impactful.
It's also predictable, and they ban out very well against it too. Ooh, tough. That's a really tough pull to do. Most people like to pull the rightmost camp. It's a little bit easier to do, but then again, Tide is a easier leech for it.
And so far the Tide is having a pretty good time here. Gets 2 melee heroes, getting his levels. Not very easy to harass out of the lane.
He's not getting very many levels though. I think he's still level 1, sadly.
Yeah, looks like he should be able to leech now with
Yeah.
ease.
I think they're gonna pull though the side camp into him though.
It's going to force Chuan. Actually level 2 already. Not too bad.
So how's the mid lane matchup going in terms of CS? So very even. And Max Leech coming out from Death Prophet. Any smokes on the side of LGD? It's gonna be tough
Not
to get
yet.
without a smoke.
Maybe closer to nighttime we'll see one picked up. As Night Stalker does meander over that way. Drops down a sentry, looking for a ward and maybe prepping for a future smoke. But doesn't find any Radiant Vision there.
Phoenix is doing a pretty good job of getting XP. Visage is very difficult to get XP against, but with that D ward, it's like half a level pretty much.
Definitely goes a long way. They have rotated the Spirit Break over towards mid.
Nice
As
Soccer's still
LGD try
camping
to
out there.
corral him. They want to force this dive out, but Tulay is
Does he have a TP scroll? If he has TP
being
scroll,
a
there's, like,
bugger.
there's no way he dies here.
He's going to have to dive. And they make their move on mid with the charge. Onto maybe. No follow-up, though. Night Stalker gets involved. So sudden quad lane mid.
Wait, what? He bought a Quelling Blade, and then he sold it on the Phoenix.
I've seen quite a few players go for the Iron Talon early on the Phoenix.
Iron Talon on every offlaner.
It's definitely an item.
I'm surprised he didn't TP back to the T1. He wasn't super low, but not a big deal for him. He's forcing Visage to not play super greedy. Hasn't had time to stack at all. Nice Stalker. only
LGD
level 2.
supports are not getting too much here, considering how much they both benefit from levels and farm. But it's the first nighttime now, and a DD rune will be secured by DDC. Maybe he's going to grab that. 19-7 in the mid lane, slightly up on the Death Prophet.
That's a great rune for Queen of Pain. She can, like, it's you want to be able to kill the Death Prophet before Spirit Breaker can TP in, so you want as much burst as possible. The DD rune kind of helps with that. Like Haste or Invis is like okay, but she can just link you. But with DD you can.
Looks like they're setting up for a jump on mid. They've got the Spirit Breaker behind the Death Prophet, looking for a charge opportunity, as well as the Phoenix looking to dive in up on the cliff, but not seeing anything, and it is nighttime, so the ward actually scouts this out. DDC doing a good job of protecting his buddy. And Phoenix will, in the end, head back towards top as that lane is pushing, looking for some additional experience. And I think he's got his Iron Talon now.
Iron Talons all around. So how's how's the Life Stealer doing? Is he going for aggro build? Okay, no Midas.
Last time how when Armlet, it was kind of the old school like Armlet S&Y Basher build, I believe.
I like Armlet in this game too. There's a lot of physical damage that armor will be very useful against.
To be fair, that game they had a slightly greedier draft, so maybe he'll change it up. But yeah, we'll see what he wants to go for.
I mean, phase drums you can't really go wrong with either. So both are good. So Tidehunter looks like his level 6 is not going to be terribly early for them, although much better than usual for OTK standards.
I feel like this is a clear like overall success, like you said, by ROTK standards.
How low are our standards for him?
I mean, for me, it's with RTK. It's like as long as he gets through the lane without dying a lot, like the team's in great shape going to mid game because they draft these super heavy team fight lineups. The cores are very consistent, and the supports have been making huge plays throughout the tournament. So I feel like he doesn't really have to do that much in the off lane in order for the team to be in good shape come mid game.
Good point.
Thanks.
Oh, they have the Phoenix Bomb too with the Life Stealer. Not only Spirit Breaker Bomb. That's something that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Phoenix is doing that Iron Talon thing right now. Getting pretty low, but charge will come in for Lei on the RTK. Oh, back away.
I'm surprised they haven't been able to deny ROTK a little bit more, because none of the spawns were blocked, so they can pull like both of the camps, and he's actually getting level 6 at a very quick pace compared to the Phoenix.
So a little stacking here by LGD. But this first nighttime has been very quiet, and we now have a level 2 Night Stalker for DDC. We've seen FY level 5 at this point with a kill. So not really having that early game impact that other teams managed to get. I guess he has protected the mid lane.
So Moose picked up very early Exorcism. You don't see it that often at 6.
It depends. I've seen was it Fada who started going I think it was Fada who started doing the 2031 build, and it seemed to be more successful than the leveling up the Crypt Swarm first.
They have a lot of damage, so he doesn't actually need like max 1 or 3 right now. Having the silence to like stop the Tide from ravaging or stop the Queen of Pain from blinking, I think is very useful. And something that some mid players don't do very often. It like guarantees you a kill if you have overloaded damage.
There's the haste rune for Moo. That's a big one. Makes the sucky a little easier.
She should be a vampire.
Death Prophet.
Yeah, she could be a vampire.
We already have Night Stalker though. Isn't he a vampire?
Yeah.
They could be a married couple. Get a room. So our Phoenix is catching up, level 5 now. And they are going to siphon in the mid lane onto maybe. Prompts a slight rotation from the Stalker, but
She's going treads too.
he's spending a lot of time hanging out mid. He's going to find himself pretty underleveled here. But maybe that's where Sylar goes and clears up some stacks. So it looks like he'll do one more. They're going to give the lane to MMY, who's closing in on level 6. DDC continues his stacking. And let's see if Newbee can punish this. They are rotating the Venge to the top lane. Together with the Death Prophet, I think they're about to smoke here and try and kill off this Visage.
You want Phoenix to be 6 before you take a large-scale engagement.
Oh. Just out of range.
We've been seeing a lot of sneaky wards in the safe lane too. And they don't have eyes on Tidehunter. He's jungling right now. He's not actually with the team, but they still don't know where he is. So they have to be very careful about how they proceed in this top fight. They don't have a ward behind the tower, but you still have to play like a Tidehunter's sitting there.
They actually TP the Visage away to bottom. Just having seen that rotation. They want the familiars, and they are going to get them almost uncontested. And let the Lifestealer shenanigans begin. Woohoo! He's packing heat.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
The Fireball spell is a lot of fun.
Free tower.
It's like a free creep wave every Fireball.
Dire's structures are fortified.
It's pretty crazy.
Dire's top
Armor.
tower is under attack.
So, I guess the tower goes down here. They're going to take over the enemy jungle with the Lifestealer a bit. And at the same time, LGD are still getting plenty off the map here overall. Having cleared out their stacks, they shot up quite a bit in net worth. And I think you are seeing that discrepancy in terms of the offlaners. RTK now level 7, mech well underway.
Queen has also been able to take out some more stacks. Like Venge is actually very, very poor
Oh,
combined with Death
oh,
Prophet.
he has his Zern. Okay, so Tule's not that far behind.
Yeah, Tule's. I thought that he was actually further behind.
It's the Iron Talon man. Saving lanes and saving games.
So Newbee can't fight during daytime with their exorcism. So I'm not really sure when they're gonna try and make a move next. But I mean, they're pretty well fortified though. 3 heroes sitting mid, bottom sitting in a dragon. Like, who do you actually want to kill if you're LGD? I think you need to try and catch them by surprise under the guise of darkness. If they get that opportunity.
Dragon's so good for flash farming.
So Gyro's gone for a Blade of Alacrity instead of the HOD. So that's kind of interesting.
That's
that he
pretty
actually
unusual
does
for
that.
Sylar.
It really is. HOD is a free creep for the Lifestealer to heal up off of in team fights though. So some people don't like getting it versus like a Clinks or versus a Lifestealer. So and Yasha still helps your farm out a lot. It's kind of a good alternative to HOD if you want to keep your farm up. But it's still very risky. He's not going to have that much HP and he's not going to have enough move speed to run away from the Lifestealer.
So the ancient Black Dragon continues to get its pressure out, and man, the Fireball gets him to be leader in terms of net worth, despite being up against a like massively stacked Gyro who had like 3 or 4 camps to work through. And he gets an armlet delivered. That's impressive.
Ooh.
And they do have their next exorcism ready.
Arcane Rune to boot. This is the old school build though, the 4-1-2.
Yeah. I was more convinced by the Siphon Max, but it seems a little matchup dependent. Quaps can generally keep her distance, so maybe not as good in that lane.
It depends. The old school players like the old school builds.
Oh, first Infest Bomb of the game. Left charging in, looking for the dive, and he finds the Tidehunter and the Night Stalker too. Oh, I want to get away. And it looks like he will barely. That was awkward. Do not think he expected to run into literally 5 LGD heroes.
So he's not popping out. They want to They wanted to make use of like
Oh,
the
he did pop out.
Arcane Rune plus Exorcism, but not finding that value.
Well, good disengage by Newbee. That could have been ugly, potentially feeding
That
away
could have
2
been
kills.
really bad. If Lifestealer, I mean, Lifestealer just rage TPs out and at max.
I mean, you say that, but Hal likes to fight in those situations, so.
I mean, you're stuck in the trees though.
They are going to get the Arcane Rune off, I believe, here. So, yeah. The lower cooldown Exorcism comes into play. Emu's got the creep wave ready, but all that was happening. Bottom lane, our 13-minute first blood. Newbee finally connect. Wow, that's got to be one of the latest first bloods of the tournament.
It's just bad luck for DDC who's trying to place a ward and then runs into 2 strength heroes.
Yeah, the Night Stalker's woes do continue here as the split push mounts from LGD, working on the bottom tier 1. Neither team able to grab a tower yet. And in this particular round of pushing.
It's going Orchid. So Orchid is very good at killing a Lifestealer.
Phoenix as well.
Phoenix as well, yeah. But Phoenix is usually not out split pushing as aggressively. Still, they want to make use of the first Ravage. It's nighttime, Exorcism is down, but the window may be too small for LGD to actually do anything with it. Newbee pick up a smoke of their own with the low cooldown Exorcism.
Do they go into Roche? They have a medallion. Too
It's
risky.
a risky Roche. They can like easily infest a creep and scout in there if they want to. It's much safer to get a kill because Death Prophet will destroy them inside the pit if they don't burst her down instantly.
It is nighttime, and they are making their way to bottom.
Yeah, there's the Spirit Breaker though to act as a smoke detector.
Quap has a DD rune. This is going to be a quick attempt, but already the rage from Hal. He backs away. Armlet toggle is available, and he is going to pack himself inside Leia, who promptly gets stunned, and Quap is there to focus him down. Now Hal's got to come out and play, and maybe is ready to greet him. He's got a present, and that present is death. A nice double kill here for LGD, and on the back of it, a tower too.
Man, where's their team at? Phoenix Egg plus Exorcism, that's some great teamfight abilities, but they are concerned about other objectives on the map. But if they keep giving it fights like that, that's a easy Roche for LGD.
It's a good aggressive ward up for LGD as well now. Could scout out some of those infest bombs potentially. The long range charges. And speaking of which, it'll be redirected all the way to top, heading towards the gyro. But smoke's on the way, seems they want to go.
I mean, he can't solo kill.
I don't know who. They're coming, but they're not going to get there. Okay, they're going to redirect. Charge up in 10 seconds again.
They don't have vision in that area. And with Gyro...
They have a lane ward mid. They saw the Quap.
With Gyro top, though, they know that LGD can't be roaching.
They might find MMY at the entrance. Do they want to go? They're also looking for the pick-off.
Fighting tied into that area is very devastating, as well as Queen. Like, it's very easy to get 2 people, and probably 3 people will be hit by like a Ravage wave combo, and then call it on to boot. It's just asking for trouble going for Roche at this point. You have to be able to get a pick or smoke.
Yeah, I think they were looking for the kill and then go for Roche, but didn't find it.
Yeah, need a charge on Quap. They have the Observer ward in mid, so they can hopefully get a charge on her and do like a swap or a silence or something like that, or even open wounds. I think would kill her at that point. But unfortunately for Newbee, maybe is playing pretty safe, waiting for his Orchid. Has he picked it up already?
I think he's just about got it.
Very close. And then now I think that LGD actually have slightly better pick-off potential, especially with the mobility of the wards.
Oh, that ward could be big here.
And the birds.
Yeah, the 2 kills they got bottom have given them these really nice wards that LGD can use to keep some tabs on the map. But Yules is now ready for Death Prophet, so at least she is a solution for the Quap.
Is Phoenix going for Midas? Are they comfortable at taking it at a slower pace?
Looks like it.
Yeah. I mean, with the way this game's going, you definitely.
It feels like a Midas game.
Yeah. Or
1
or
to 2
Mag.
with fairly minimal objectives.
The problem with going too greedy though is that both teams can take Roche if you lose one fight.
Well, nobody else is going greedy on Newbee though.
Yeah.
Lifestealer's getting fighting items.
So is Death Prophet. I mean,
Yeah.
Death Prophet can't really build that greedy. I guess Bloodstone.
Midas Death Prophet.
I've seen Bloodstone, I think, early. That's pretty greedy, I would say, but not that greedy.
Midas just feels super core on Phoenix because he benefits so much from the levels, and there's not really one item that's that devastating on him usually. I mean, you mentioned Mech, but
Oh, are they both smoking?
we're going to have a big fight. Potentially. Newbee are backing off. They're in decent position here to dodge away from this one. They can scout it out. The smoke gets real. They smoke, and it's instantly canceled. Oh, crap. What's going on? What's wrong? Too late. Instantly dead. He will pay. Now RTK caught up, but the Siphon goes to work. The Ravage is barely deployed in time. Then he gets the mech off. Sylar engaging. Good Yule Scepter, though. Charge forward. Popping out and looking to engage is How, and he's going to quickly take care of Sylar. Takes out the trash. Moo, being pursued by familiars here, may have to back away. 3 down for Newbee. So far, only 1 for LGD, but they are very low as Chuan takes the Soul Assumption, then gets silenced up. Maybe was waiting for this, and he's going to re-engage Fairy Fire. Not enough. He goes down too. Lifestealer getting up in the front, and maybe blinking away to safety. So it's actually 4 down in the end, I believe. Or no, 3 for 2. 3 for 2.
I was trained by Newbee. I don't think they expected the smoking to be so quick, but they smoked and then it popped immediately. So they have to know that LGD's right around them, as well as Darkness being popped. And Chuan was, I think, surprisingly slow on the swap there. Maybe, I think he wanted to stay far enough back that he didn't get hit by Ravage, but if they get the Phoenix Egg off that fight, I don't think that LGD can handle it.
Yeah, so it was actually 4. Venge fought back. Gyro getting the Manta now. So pretty unusual to see a Manta first on Gyro.
It's good versus open wounds. It's decent if you get swapped in too, and it's good HP if you don't want to go for SNY. And BKB will hurt your farm too much. But it's also like a slower paced kind of game where you can just use Manta to scout. So I think Manta's slightly undergotten on Gyrocopter compared to SNY. But sometimes the utility is too great. The Dispel is amazing. Like, let's say Phoenix eggs too, and you have a Spirit on you, you can just Dispel it and attack the egg. It's very useful. Dispel silence up Death Prophet, although he usually shouldn't be silenced because there are higher priority targets.
Yeah, I imagine the Tide is going to be the big one this game.
Yep, he got silenced last fight, but still got Ravage and Mech off.
Well, that's the beauty of having RTK in a hero like that. Is no matter what the positioning is like, he's getting his ult off. That's for damn sure.
Dire's structures
But How is going to start mounting a siege here bottom. LGD working on the tier 1.
is under attack.
Looks like they are not coming to defend, so they'll just give this one to Newbee for free.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
And Newbee getting the mid tower for free. Creep's doing that. I imagine we'll see at least a glyph here. But they keep their push going bottom lane, and they are going to engage, diving deep onto the Gyrocopter, but that is way too far. Sylar was ready for that, and they are not going to be able to commit. Do LGD go back and fight?
Yep, Ghosts are going to be down soon, so if Newbee want to stick around this side of the map, they definitely fight.
They're coming. Parade of LGD heroes heading straight to the bottom lane, but already the TP's out. The entire team abandoned ship, aside for the Lifestealer. No, he's going to rage and get the hell out, too.
But they'll see Venge mid. Now they'll see Death Prophet top, so I think that's a good sign of Roche if they want.
They know the Exorcism's on cooldown.
Yeah, I think it's a very good time for them to Roche. What does Visage have?
He had Medallion.
Okay, yeah. I'm actually surprised they didn't do it earlier, but they still have plenty of time. And Newbee, even if they want to smoke into it, they still have to fight without the Exorcism, which is very difficult, and into Ravage and Mech.
It's not happening. So LGD overall coming out with a big victory here, grabbing the Aegis. And then we'll have to see what objectives they grab with that Aegis. How much they want to post up. Considering the number of big team fight ults, we have not seen very many this game, though. Both teams are playing very cautiously.
LGD has a gyro late game, though. Way better than
They can
Lifestealer.
silence Tule and go for an easy pick-off here. Night Stalker getting the job done. It is the Quap Orchid that starts it off, but that ward does pay for itself. Golem coming through, nothing to see here.
So Phoenix is getting Yules for the double silence that LGD have, which is it's a good pickup. It's also way easier to build up than a Shiva's. So generally the item of choice, cheaper than BKB too. But do they really want to take this fight into LGD's Aegis? They have Ghosts up soon, but I don't think it's gonna be enough for them.
It's pretty clowny watching this Granite Golem just do fast laps. He's been working out and has definitely increased his ground speed by a substantial amount.
Yum, HP.
Dire's
I'm glad players are starting to take advantage of the Ancients infesting more. Not that it always is the best option, but it's very entertaining to watch.
That armlet graphic.
Just a glowing red purple thing. I love the portrait for the golem.
I think that Newbee are going to be in a lot of trouble soon. Because they're going to have a ton of armor on the side of LGD. Like Medallion, Solar, like a lot of items on Gyrocopter, probably AC soon on Quap. Like this is not going to be a team fight that Newbee really want to fight into. And like if they keep continuing at this pace, I think the LGD are going to outscale Newbee very, very quickly. Especially with the Aegis being forfeited.
And they are winning the farm war across the board on every position here. So LGD keeping up their farm, taking objectives, and having all their ults up, not really having to expend anything. They can just keep on pushing for the next round of objectives. Seems Newbee are very intent on trading this, but I'm not sure they get a free trade here. Blinks up on Tide, looking to go with the Ravage potentially once he grabs that. But the Courier is heading back to base, so he's not going to have it if they fight right now.
LGD just have not been in a position to be kinked by Spirit Breaker too. I think generally like Spirit Breaker is very difficult to play against LGD though, because they are really good at not splitting up and getting picked off. Siler's a very safe farmer with good map awareness, and the rest of the supports play around their cores very often and very well.
Well, they may have to fight head-on here at the rate LGD's headed. Grouping up towards the mid lane. Nightstalker, the one man that's pretty far behind, but they are all converging here.
I think they'll just take T2 with the Aegis in the back though. I think pushing up high ground into like Phoenix and Death Prophet's Death Wish.
Oh, they have vision on how. Familiars will get up there and keep them penned back in. So they do grab the tier 2, and still 2 outer towers remaining for Newbee, but this Aegis is allowing LGD a lot of freedom to move around the map. 4,400 gold on Sylar.
LGD supports also scale better with something like a Visage on your team. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Can even pierce through the magic immunity with all that physical damage. So.
And once they get the Ags gem, it's going to be tough for Newbee to keep the map dewarded.
So it seems like Newbee are like always kind of waiting for some item, but it like. I don't know what their breaking point is. Like, they just got BKB on Death Prophet, but maybe they're like, oh, I still want to wait for the Yules on the Phoenix so he can actually get an egg off, which he hasn't been able to this game. And then before, they were waiting for, like, the Armlet on the Lifestealer, but LG is just picking up way more items with, like, Mag, Blink.
LGD is just playing too safe. Like, there's just no opportunities for Newbee. I mean, he's literally diving the base, and he still can't find a pick.
They're playing very, very safe. And
they have the deep wards to set up charges, but they're just not finding them.
The thing is, they play safe, but they still outfarm Newbee. Likely because of that one team fight where they just gave up so much and gave up Roche. And Newbee, now they're waiting, okay, we need to wait for the Aegis to expire, and then they'll get the Yules in the Phoenix. But what about that? When's their point? They're maybe waiting for LGD to make a mistake in their positioning, but that happens so rarely. And they have BKB on Quap, and like ROTK is such a tanky hero that even if he's out of position, he can still contribute a lot to the team fight.
And they get the Aegis back, never really having had to expend it or come close to it. And Sylar closes in on 5,000. So
Oh, they have a ward this time in the back for LGD. They know that Newbee's coming. They can set up very easily. Maybe even smoke wrap around with the Tidehunter. It's going to be a very dangerous fight.
Spirit Breaker's in the trees looking for the charge, but guess who's just gotten his Aghanim Scepter? It's currently daytime, but only for about a minute and a half, 2 more minutes tops.
They have such a good front line, though. The Solar Crest on Sylar. Oh, hello.
They did find Lei. Familiars. 1, 2. He wants to run. And boink. Blink. Ravage. RTK's going to go. Move does pop his BKB, but there's not much hope for this Death Prophet. Anyway, the swap out comes through, but he didn't even have the ultimate going, and now the ghosts are deployed. But is it going to be in time here? They've already lost the Spirit Breaker. They're on the run, getting rounded essentially. Chuan likely to go down. That's 2. Make it 3 with the Phoenix also dropping, and then Mu even with the Soul Siphon. It's simply not enough. That's 4 and likely to be 5. Running down Hao and going to finish him off. ROTK with the decisive jump in. And with that jump, there was just no hope for Newbee.
I think Newbee just waited far too long to make a move, though. They've had Exorcism, but they haven't been able to force any fights where they could have. And now LGD have 2 BKBs. They have the nice front line with the Solar Crested hero that has a BKB. Actually, Siler doesn't have BKB, but he's super tanky with 2200 HP. I guess not terribly good versus Lifestealer, but good enough with the Scotty that he can kite him, and he can.
I like this build better. They have a lot of BKB piercing, disables, and damage, so
it's good armor.
I think the scale's better versus Newbee.
All he needs to really do is not die, because they have better late game. So as long as he doesn't die, he can just keep up his farm. But this is getting worse and worse for Newbee. Been trying to get some kills with Infest Bombs. Hasn't happened. First egg used. Immediately dies. Roshian going to respawn very soon. Ags on Night Stalker. Things are looking very bleak and dismal. And dark.
And dreary. Depressing. Unless you're on the side of LGD. Then they're delightful.
I'm still not exactly sure what the game plan was. Like, they get owned by BKBs. Like, they do have BKB piercing.
I think they were just expecting a lot more out of the charges. Oh, bottom lane. Hao's been caught out here. The Orchid gets to work, and they do collect a kill. Charge in by Lei. He is going to bash back maybe, but maybe it's BKB, and he's going to turn this one. He's going to finish off the Spirit Breaker. The egg gets dropped. It's in the middle of LGD. Oh, it doesn't look like they have the damage to finish him off, so they do lose the Visage. Phoenix had committed for that. But backup is coming for LGD, and they do have the man advantage here. As well as a Sonic Wave available very soon. Too late. Silenced again. Maybe gets to work in the front lines. RTK just smacking them with the anchor, and in the end, the Phoenix can't make it away. Again, getting punished. 3 more down for Newbee. A mega kill streak.
Great silence by Night Stalker to get the finishing kill onto Phoenix. But life's easy when you have Axe Gem. You can do whatever you want. And you know the enemies can't see you. And if they have a smoke play, LGD just BKB. Newbee don't have a good way to stop their BKBs. They don't have like a Blink Ravage to start off a fight. Like, Charge is just underwhelming.
The Night Stalker picks are winning games right now for the Chinese teams. They have a very high win rate with that hero. Pretty much every team.
Especially for a slow-paced game like this. It's all about map vision. It's all about controls. All about feeling safe when you farm, or making the opponents feel very scared. And Night Stalker just excelled at that sort of game, as well as with the new Iron Talon build. You can jungle, and if you're off the map, you're doing your job because people are scared that you're gonna smoke gank. You spark darkness while you're farming, and they're like, "Oh, he's gonna jump."
Woo! Spooky. Completed AC. Quita Payne, your leader in net worth. I mean, the LGD carries just, like, the playstyle just suits the core so well. They really are efficient with their farm. Chuan getting trapped out here, and we're going to see more of that if Newbee dare to leave the base without a full 5-man stack.
Newbee have run at you heroes, but they haven't ran at LGD. Likely because of the Tide pick. I'm actually considering whether or not Newbee are just going to first phase ban Tide because of this, so they can prey on ROTK and to have a better mid game and try and capitalize on sometimes his weak early game. But
either that or have, like, say, the Gyro on their team so they can actually pressure him in lane more easily. Siler does get caught by a charge. The Rage comes out. He's fairly tanky, though. The Scotty giving him that extra armor. He gets swapped back in. Completely focused. Can they kill Siler? They do manage to bring him down, but then RTK looks to turn. He gets off the Ravage still. The Death Prophet will do a lot of work, but now she's the last woman standing. Can she really solo all of LGD? MMY says hell nah, and GG. Just like that, Newbee get wiped up.
dang, that was a super tight game from LGD though. Like very few errors. ROTK, you know, when he doesn't die in lane and gets his levels and farm, the games seem to be very, very easy for LGD because their other two cores play very safe and they don't die. They buy the right items.
I mean, we saw with OG they were able to beat LGD even with ROTK having a good start, but that was because they had a Morphle and a hero that can just rat it out, avoid the fights, and prevent LGD from getting their reliable 5-man initiations. And Newbee did not have that here. They had to, like you said, they're a run at you lineup.
Yep, they balked at their attempts. They kind of just waited too long. And then if you wait too long, like Night Stalker's gonna limit your opportunities so much. Like 6 minutes out of every 8 is gonna be darkness. So you have like 2 minutes out of every 8. How are you gonna get the jump on them, like when they don't have Ravage? I think they waited too long. It was a slightly strange draft to be played that way too.
Well, we'll see if Newbee has something different in store for us here, guys. That was game 1. This is a best of 3, of course. And right now, LGD are looking for a date with EG. Let's see if they can turn it around or if this is going to be a 2-0 after this break. We'll be back with more MDL action.